The Senate and this committee has taken judicial notice of certain actions and utterances from the delegation that is before us that smack of contempt on the role of the Senate and on the role of this committee. Very shortly, we shall be playing some audios that have been attributed to the Speaker of Isiolo. Utterances that are demeaning to senators, to this committee, and to the institution of the Senate. The Constitution requires fair administrative action, that before you take any decision that is adverse on any party, that party must be given an opportunity to explain themselves. Speaker Isiolo, you have been cited adversely, discussing the work of this committee and discussing the work of Senate in terms that are not flattering. We do not seek flattery because we are out to do our constitutional mandate. But when a state officer goes ahead to besmirch the reputation and the efforts of a parliamentary committee, that is a matter which even you sitting as a speaker, you must demand an explanation, you must demand a retraction, you must demand an apology. I think for avoidance of doubt, so that the speaker knows what is being asked to comment on, we are going to play, I think, videos of some of the utterances that have been attributed to him, and it will be a simple exercise of him confirming whether it is true that he made those comments, the context within which he made those comments, and whether he stands by them or he wishes to retract them. Where is that? How long is this one?
The primary oversight authority katika
I'll start this.
Sisi kama county assembly ambayo tunafaa kuwa ni the primary oversight authority katika county government. Hatujaona kama hii county government iko na shida. Na sijui watu wanatoka Nairobi, watu wanatoka Eldoret, wengine wanatoka huko mbali, wanakuja hapa alafu within 2 hours wanasema hii serikali ni serikali imekufa. Ama waliandikiwa script wakaambiwa wasome tu maneno. Mimi kama speaker ya Isiolo County Assembly, hakuna report mbaya katika executive imetufikia, and the leader of majority yako hapa.
Mr. Speaker, are those utterances attributed to you?
Yes, Chair, those are my utterances.
Would you explain the context?
Well, I think I'm here as the chair of the County Assembly Service Board, not as the Speaker of the Isiolo County Assembly.
You cannot be chair if you're not the speaker. Those two roles are joined at the hip.
Yes, but the other one is political, and as far as, you know, the oversight role of this committee is concerned.
So you agree with those comments? You are not repentant, and you think that they were made properly?
It doesn't extend to oversight, legislative and representative role of the County Assembly. I stand with it.
Chair, could I please?
Speaker, what do you mean? Just for avoidance of doubt. I've told you to explain the context and to tell us whether you believe that what you said were right and proper.
I believe that it was right and proper.
Okay.
And that was a political statement.
Wanasema hii county ni ya Banana Republic. Wako na data mzuri ama wako wanapiga tu siasa? Siasa. Tunaona kama wanapiga siasa ama ni kweli? Siasa. Vile mkono. Siasa. Siasa. Sisi kama county government ikiwa na executive na upande ya assembly tumesema makelele ya kando kando hatutasikiza. Ile maoni tutasikiza ni ya raia ya nchi, tutasikiza ile shida wako nayo na tuendelee kutimiza hizo shida. Ile shida watu wanatoa kwa upande Eldoret watu wanatoa upande ya Nairobi, wengine wanatoa Homa Bay, wanajaribu kutuletea hapa Isiolo. Hatutakubali. Kwa hayo machache, muendelee kusupport serikali.
Mr. Speaker, could you tell me the problems coming from Homa Bay to Isiolo, now that you say you stand with these comments?
The Chair, am I here to answer to the questions?
Mr. Speaker, you either choose to answer the questions as put to you, or you exercise your right to remain silent, but we shall not entertain an exchange with the chair. You have said you stand with the remarks that you made, and in translation, you have said you are not going to accept problems from Homa Bay, from Nairobi, from Kericho. I'm the senator from Homa Bay. What kind of problems are coming from Homa Bay to Isiolo? If you choose to remain silent, you say, I choose to remain silent.
Yes.
You cannot just sit there like a statue.
I choose to remain silent on that.
Honorable members, that's the client we have in front of us. Senator Nyonka.
Thank you, Chair. My honest opinion is that I find the level of impunity and the behavior of the Speaker. Speaker, when we came to Isiolo, we didn't come to talk to you because we hated you. When we came, our job, you understand, I hope, what our job is. And that job is secondary oversight, and the reality is that there is nowhere in the Constitution where it states that when a senator comes to Isiolo, his responsibility will not be part and parcel of even oversighting the county assembly. So according to me, I actually have no business sitting here and looking at you and expecting to sit here and interrogate the books of your assembly in Isiolo. So just the way you've decided that you're going to be quiet and silent and you will not respond, I will also take that position and I'll be quiet and I will not say anything and I will allow the chairman to rule.
Senator Methu.
Honorable Chair, well, even from the demeanor of the Speaker, he looks like ready for war, but whatever it would be. When Governor Abdi Guyo appeared before this committee, who in my opinion had even made more disparaging comments than even the comments that have been made by this Speaker, he was honorable enough to withdraw his comments and apologize to the committee. And that way we were able to proceed. But these are two houses of legislature, the County Assembly and the Senate. If a client disparages the Senate to the extent of what we've heard in those comments, and you still feel that, whether they are political or not political, you still feel that it is so difficult for you to withdraw these words and apologize to the Senate because, in my opinion, these comments are so disparaging. This very committee that you are speaking about, those very problems that are expected to come from Homa Bay and Nairobi and the other places, they are not very far because the people who had come from Homa Bay and other places are still in this committee. They are the people that you say that you want them to look at or interrogate your books of account, because, I mean, that is the law. So, Mr. Chairman, I am of this proposal. There are only two ways about this particular matter. Either the Speaker chooses to do the honorable thing of withdrawing those comments, apologizing to the Senate, we proceed and look at and interrogate the books that are before us, or we don't listen to him. That is the only way that we can be able to move. Be able to move. If I came to your county assembly, if you invited a grant to your county assembly and abuses your county assembly outside there, but then wants to sit as a gentleman and wants to answer your questions, I mean, you cannot listen to him. So, and it is not my mistake. I hear that you have dealt with the legislature in the past. You are not like maybe somebody who has been picked from the street. You are a person who knows parliamentary procedures. So, I mean, once you are cornered, you know your way.
Thank you. Senator Chirage.
Chair, I can see time is far spent. From the demeanor of my good speaker and my friend, he came for war. Even the way he's talking on the...
Not at all, not at all.
Order, Speaker, allow the senators to make their comments.
Speaker, so, Chair, looking today is a Friday, and I don't see from the demeanor, you know, some of us who have gone to court, and of course he's aware of court procedures also, where he served previously, knows that the demeanor of the client or the accused sometimes might not be very good. And I'm surprised that the Speaker, who has a global view of the country, would reduce himself to utter such disparaging remarks against an institution where other institutions he has served before. Respect is mutual, is two-way. The problems of Homa Bay and Eldoret and Kisii are the same problems that he will rely to pass the ceiling for him to be paid as the Speaker to enjoy the perks and salaries, the same problems that he's accusing them of being problems. So I find it extremely uncomfortable, for lack of a better term, to become a problem, yet when the ceilings and we just passed 400 billion, he would not be sitting as a Speaker if there are no resources that will go to Isiolo County Assembly to preside over the sitting. MCS have to be paid, committees have to sit. Even when he was traveling to this committee, he has used public money, taxpayers' money, which is appropriated by the same entity that is calling it disparaging and abusing it. I think as a lesson to many others, and you know your friend, your good friend Governor, came here and he was able to apologize and withdraw. And we were able to proceed, Chair. Having realized, you know, sometimes at the heat of the moment in political arena, sometimes we can say something that sometimes we might not have meant it, or we made it out of maybe excitement out of the day or pledging loyalty. So I think as the Speaker, as you give a ruling, Speaker should tell us whether he is working for the county executive or he is working for the county assembly. And as a Speaker, naturally, the Speaker should be neutral, because county assembly or parliament has both sides of the aisle. There are people who support the government of the day. There are people who criticize. But as a Speaker, you cannot take a position to say that. I know the Speaker might have made that one for a particular audience, specifically for the governor to be happy. But on this one, he must know, as the Speaker of the Isiolo County Assembly, he is the leader, that is the umpire of County Assembly. Chairman, realizing that the Speaker is not interested in withdrawing or apologizing to the committee, I would request that so that we proceed. You know, human beings need sometimes to reflect. He can be given leave to go and reflect whether he wants to deal with Parliament or as a Senate, or he would want to abide by the rules and procedures of the House. Because, Speaker, in conclusion, in any instance, your committee summon CEOs, they summon within. You can imagine if the chief officer will disparage your MCS and wants to appear before the same committee, yet he has a low opinion, or he doesn't believe that an institution of Isiolo County Assembly should be operating. We must respect each other as institutions. So, Speaker, I think through the chair, the Speaker, who is the Speaker, and I want to assist him, because he's my good friend, that you would not be the chair of County Assembly Service Board if you are not a Speaker. You cannot be the chair of Senate Public Accounts Committee if you are not nominated or elected by the people of Homa Bay. You cannot be a member of this committee, Senator Dulo, if you are not elected by the people of Isiolo or you are nominated. So, those roles are intertwined. The president you cannot become the chief of defense forces without being the president of Kenya or commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So I think the Speaker should allow to take leave go and reflect. I know he came from Umrah, or was it? I saw him praying sometimes back, essentially. So he should go back and reflect on what it means well for this country. I thank you.
Okay, that was a lengthy submission. Any other submission before we give directives? Senator Omtata.
Honorable Speaker, you have really surprised me that you can purport to distinguish between a political statement and any other statement. And I would just like to read to you chapter 6, Article 73 and Article 75. Article 73:1, authority assigned to a state officer is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that is consistent with the purposes and objects of this Constitution, demonstrates respect for the people, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office, promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office, and vests in the state officer the responsibility to serve the people rather than the power to rule them. And if you look at 2, the guiding principle, the selection, the guiding principle of leadership and integrity does not distinguish between political and civil service. And as the Speaker of the Assembly, are you a political body? Or are you somehow an administrative organ? 1075, it says, 1C, a state officer shall behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids demeaning the office the officer holds. So when you say that what you said was political and therefore does not matter, I don't know where in the law you find that kind of distinction. Maybe you could help me. Because I'm really surprised that when a political podium gives you some immunity from accountability. I would love to know which law you are relying on to make that a very, very broad statement. Kindly.
Speaker.
Chair, whatever has been said has been said. That is now past us. I wish to withdraw that statement wholly and apologize for us to move on.
Honorable members, I have looked at the Constitution, I have looked at statute, and I've looked at our standing orders. If the Speaker was a member of Parliament, I would be making a decision based on Standing Order 121 on disorderly conduct. But he is not a member of the Senate. Because he's relating with Parliament, I will refer him to the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act on prohibited acts in respect of Parliament and its members. And I find, despite what he's trying to frame as an apology, I find that some of the prohibited acts in respect of Parliament and its members, which is in Section 26 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, a person shall not assault, obstruct, molest, or insult any member preceding to, being within, or leaving the presence of Parliament, or endeavor to compel any member by force, insult, or menace to declare himself or herself in favor of or against any proposition or matter pending or expected to be brought before Parliament or any committee. A plain reading of that prohibited act in the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act convinces me that you are in violation of that provision. But when it comes to the Constitution of Kenya, Senator Omtata has read the right sections of the law. And it's a matter of integrity. It's a matter of Chapter 6 on responsibilities of leadership, which must demonstrate respect for the people. It is not just for the people who support you, but it's respect for the people of the Republic of Kenya. Public trust must be exercised in a manner that brings honor to the nation and the dignity to the office that you hold of Speaker, and promotes public confidence in the integrity of that office. And in your conduct as a state officer, you are expected to behave, whether in public and official life, or in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interest and public or official duties, etc., including demeaning the office the officer holds. Honorable Senators, as I said, if the Speaker was a member of the Senate, I would have applied Standing Order 121. What is coming out as an apology, my colleagues have talked of demeanor and body language. We do not take apologies for their sake. This committee will only take an apology and a retraction that is in writing. I will therefore modify the provisions of Standing Order 121 and direct that the Speaker vacates the presence of Senate and the presence of Parliament until and when he shall tender a written retraction and apology to the Senate. We shall also submit to the whole House a motion conveying this decision, where we'll be calling on the House to ensure that the Speaker does not appear before any other committee or any other service of the Senate until and when that retraction and apology is tendered in writing. I therefore instruct the Sergeant-at-Arms to make sure that the Speaker is led out of Parliament, and this meeting will not proceed until the Sergeant-at-Arms have reported that the Speaker is outside the presence of Parliament.
Go for prayers.
We shall wait until there is that confirmation and presence of Parliament are very clearly defined. It's not just this room.